Hi, everybody. It's Paper Tiger. Thought I'd call to say hey. I'm about ready to start my nightly cleaning up after the dog, picking up all of his toys. It was triple digits here in Texas. Good old Soggy Bottom, Texas. Um, Ran into another security guard for the first time in a long time. And he proceeded to remind me of something that I noticed about myself years ago and changed. It's the one-upmanship that veterans do, and police officers, and anybody who. I've talked in the past about being a wannabe, and then before you know it, you either are or you aren't. And if you are, eventually you become a used to be. I'm a used to be. But all these used to be's stomp around, talk, tell fantastic stories. And I saw that about myself and went, I'm who I am. I was in the Army, they call it a REMF, Rear Echelon Blede. And I was in the rear with the gear, never went to combat. But being military police, you saw a lot of action. You're, wrestling, fighting, suicides, dead bodies. I even delivered a baby. Of course, it all boiled down to, oh my gosh. And she laid down and I picked up the baby, I put it on her stomach. That's the true story of it. Oh my gosh, Deneen delivered a baby. He must be a genius, And then you just don't tell them, well, there was some skill, you got to turn that head, you got to. And you push down a little bit, and it just bloop right out. Well, it was out. It was coming. Nothing I could have done to stop it. Suicides were the worst. I've talked about those. But when I run into old vet buddies, they all tell you that, like here in Texas, it gets hot. And we were doing security at the Fiesta. Big celebration downtown, right underneath an highway overpass at International Market. And it was hot. And of course, it's midnight by the time we got back to the office. And you hear it. When I was in Afghanistan, it was hot in Afghanistan. And I had come to the conclusion I was never going to one-up a story again. But I looked at him, I go, this one time I was manning the surfboard rental shack on Waikiki Beach at the military hotel. And, I don't know why it was just so hot that day. There wasn't a breeze, because usually there's a beautiful breeze that comes in on the beach. There was just no breeze, and it was just hot and just miserable. And I'd worn the wrong pair of beach jams, and the shirts. I wore a shirt, tank top. God, I had got a sunburn. It was terrible. And all these guys are looking at me like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Was that a I'm really cool story and it went right over their heads that I was messing with them. I had really actually done that. But they didn't know how to react because I didn't go, well, when I was in Kuwait, we were getting ready to invade with Schwarzkopf. No, it wasn't anything like that. Oh, jeez. This one time, and today, the guy came out of nowhere and he's like, when I was with SAGNAV, Cam Doc, this and that, and he's telling stories, and I'm like, you got out before Grenada. You're too young to have been in Vietnam. Okay, so I got you figured out. So he's telling me a story. They had the boats and they were the old torpedo cruisers, and we would be zipping up and down. Had the big Quad 50 and the mini guns. I'm like, I killed a gopher with a stick once, and he looks like, I go, you know who was cool? The Coast Guard at Pearl Harbor. Oh, and I tell people, if you want to see action, go Coast Guard. And everybody goes, no, the Coast Guard's a bunch of me. No, these guys intercept drug dealers. These guys chase down terrible people. And at the Coast Guard station in Pearl Harbor, they had this big cage, and it had a golden lion marmoset in it. Well, they had pulled these off a boat. I went, oh wow, they're adorable. No, not a single zoo wanted them. The feds didn't want them. Nobody wanted them. They said, just have them. Okay, so they built a chicken wire cage and they put them in there, and they smelled horrible, but it was kind of cool. But the Coast Guard, actually, day to day, was the toughest group. They saw the most action. I was an MP, which literally it's not a cop. You're not a police officer, because there's so many things you don't do that police officers do. I'm kind of a base security guard, and I've told the story about cooking breakfast, helping with breakfast, and you're just a security guard. So being a security guard now is the same as being an MP back then. You go stand somewhere for a while, you go over here, you go look around, you make sure the windows haven't been knocked out. If you do, you write a report. But all these guys they so want to be somebody, they tell stories. And talking to guys from the VFW, there's a big difference between veterans of foreign wars and the American Legion. And the guys who are at the veterans of foreign wars, most of them, 99%, are really decent, fun guys. 1% is that guy who tells you the big, great story. And you can just tell that he didn't do anything cool. Because nobody, tells you their incredible stories. If they were 75th Infantry Ranger and they did anything cool, you can never talk about that again. So anybody who tells you a great big Army story, when we were over and we were shooting it out with Charlie in the rice paddies, no, you won't. But to combat them, telling them a goofy story throws them for such a loop. Oh God! This one time when I was walking the beach, somebody bumped me and I got ice cream all over me. I had to go back and change my uniform in barracks that were like 100 yards away. God, what a day! Just good thing you always have extra uniforms ready, and they get that look like. So you lived 100 yards away from Waikiki Beach? Yeah. It's tough duty, man. Got some serious PTSD. And what kind of PTSD do you got? I go, well, all the barracks rats. Boy, they got intense over in Hawaii. And these guys go, you had rats? And I go, oh no, barracks rats are those girls who hang out on a military base so they can get married to a military guy. So they hang out, they drive by the barracks and try to pick up guys. Get married, get that tri-care going. And you had to fight them off of the step. Yeah, the first 20 feet out of the front door of that barracks, they'd set traps. You'd have a noose. You could, you go, why is there a rope hanging down from that tree? No, you stop. You go the other way around because somebody's going to get married. And it's really? No, not really, dude. I'm making a joke. Okay, calm down. Oh, okay. Again, it all boils down to taking yourself way too seriously. And I had to get over myself. I wasn't. Nobody's like it is on the movies. So anybody who tells you a story that you could just write down, put on the big screen, yeah, they're full of crap. But hey, that popped up today when I was talking to that other security guard who kept trying to impress me. And I wasn't I killed a gopher with a stick once. Hey, it was nice talking to you again today. Have fun.